stand at the front of your mat, breathe in, raise your arms, breathe out, down to the side. Just getting used to paying attention to your breath. Breathe in, rise your arms, breathe out, arms down. Breathing in and out through your nose. Third time, breathing in, lift your arms, breathing out, lower your arms. This time breathing in, looking up, breathe out, fold forward. You can have your hands on your knees if you need to. Breathing in, lift up to a straight back, breathing out, step back and lower yourself to the floor. You can lower your knees, lower your chest, everything. Put your hands in front and lift up, gentle back bend, cobra. Put your hands down and push back to child's pose, so your bum on your feet and your hands out front. Tuck your feet under, lift your hips to downward facing dog, maybe walk your legs, bend your knees, look between your hands and gently walk to the front of your mat. Fold forward, breathing in, rise your arms and breathing out, hands to your side. Breathing in, lift up, breathing out, fold forward. Breathing in, look up, flat back, breathe out, step back with the other foot first if you can, remember, and lower down to plank. Push a little bit deeper, maybe push your arms straight and push back again to child's pose, keeping your hands where they were. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Working your heels towards the floor, keeping your back straight though, bending your knees. Walk forward to the front of the mat, lift up, flat back. Breathe out, fold forward again, breathe in, lift your arms, breathe out, hands to your side. And again, breathe in, arms up, hands touch. Breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, look up, straight back. Breathe out, step back and lower yourself to full plank with your arms straight. So plank like we do with Jean. And hold it there, engage. If you want a bit more, you can lift one foot and then the other foot. Try and keep your hips straight. Engage your stomach muscles. You can lift one arm up forward and then the other arm up forward if you want a bit more. And then lower yourself down and push to upward facing dog, activating your legs this time. Keep your knees off the floor if you can. And roll over your toes and lift your hips. Heels moving towards the floor, buttocks moving towards the ceiling. And maybe you want to lift your right leg here for variety. Try and keep your hips straight. And now your right leg. This time you could lift your left leg and bend your knee if you want and open your hip. So let your left foot come over. So it's a slight twist. And now the other side. Sorry, that was right leg first, now left leg. I get confused looking at it on the video. And then come down to child's pose. Tuck your toes under. Lift foot to down dog. Now you're going to use your, what would that be? That would be your right hand is going to reach over to your left hand is going to reach to your right foot. And so have a nice twist there. Put your left hand back. Now your right hand is going to reach over to your left foot and on the outside of your left foot. So just pull gently to get a nice twist. all these poses you can stay in much longer if you want to just pause the video. You'll get more from it. Walk your hands towards your feet this time. And slowly roll up to standing. And now we'll do some balances. So ground your feet, ground your left foot, and lift your right foot, just the toe to the ground if you want, or you could lift it a bit higher up your left leg. If you want to do the full posture, you might need your hand to help you get your foot right into your groin. And gravity should do the work. This is tree pose, trying to keep your hips open, your knee open. And if you want to go further, put your hands in front of your heart and lift them up. Try not to lift your shoulders like I'm doing, which is not very good. And then bring them back down to heart center. Release your leg if you can without wobbling, and then everything else. We'll go to the other side. So left to left foot. You can have just your toe, that's fine, as long as you're grounded on your right leg. It's a tree, so feel like the roots of your right leg are going down into the ground. But if you're going further, lift your left foot up into your groin, keeping your knee open, your hip open, hands to heart center, and lift your arms. It's quite hard to keep your shoulders away from your ears. You might not put your hands together. And then bring your arms down and release your leg. Now another balance. Lifting your right leg, hold your knee, hug your right knee into your chest. You could put your left hand on your hip. If you want to go further, you could hold onto your right toe. So come with on the inside of your leg, inside of your knee, hold onto your big toe. And if you want to go further still, straighten your leg, but all the time trying to keep your hips centered. It's really a balance, so it's more important that you have the feeling, the strength in your left leg, and try and keep your hips center. I'm not very straight, I can see now. And then put your hands to your hips to release your leg down. So the other side, lifting your left leg. Hug your knee into your chest, grounding down with your right foot. Put your right hand on your right hip. Hold on to your left big toe if you want to go further, and straighten your leg. Make sure your hip doesn't come forward. Lift it up a little higher, or just stay where you are, holding your knee in with one hand, with your left hand. And as you put both hands on your hips, see if you can hold your knee up without using your hands. And then gradually, with control, lower it to the floor. And now we're going to do Trikonasana triangle pose, which we did the other day. So you want your legs about a leg length apart. So right foot turned out, left foot turned in a little bit, and tilting down, keeping your arms in one line. You want to imagine you're against a wall. It's very important not to collapse forward with your shoulders or your hips. So don't go down as far as your foot with your right hand if you are falling forward. Better to be straight and not so low down. So come up, twist your feet the other way. So keep your right hip open here. Look up to your right hand if you can. Maybe using your left hand as a lever to open your chest. Before you come up, you look down to your foot and breathing in to come up. And come, put your feet together, arms to your side. Now a slightly less wide stance. Point your hips completely to the right, to the wall to your right. And your feet are like they were for Trikonasana, but not so far apart. And you want to try and put your hands behind your back. So you can either hold onto your elbows behind your back, and if you can do prayer position, so putting your hands together, you want to do that. And then lean forward from the hips, keeping them straight, trying to keep your back straight. I'm not doing that very well. Go forward as far as you can, before your back feels the need to curve. I think I've gone too far. Looking down at your toe, breathing in, come up. Keep your hands there. Pivot your feet round to the other side. Make sure your hips are straight. Holding forward. You shouldn't be able to curve your back too much if you've got your hands in prayer position. And the cat's going to come and help. And breathing in, come to stand. And put your feet together. So come to the front of your mat. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, fold forward. Breathing in, flat back. Breathing out, step back. Lower down. Breathing in, upward facing dog. Breathing out, downward facing dog. Step forward with your right foot. And lift your arms. Make sure your hips are straight. This is warrior one. We're going to look up at your hands. Try and keep your front leg bent as close to, we're aiming for 45 degrees. I've not quite managed that today. But with each exhalation, sink a bit lower. Straighten your front leg, pivot round, keeping your arms up to the other side. So same posture but the other way on the other leg. Looking up. Try not to let your back arch. Try and, which mine is a bit. You want to keep your core engaged so you're not letting your stomach go forward. Now you're going to twist your hips to face the back. Open your arms. This is warrior two. So your hips are now changed so that they're facing to the long side of the mat. Your arms want to be parallel with the floor and strong with energy coming out of the fingertips. Looking out over your front fingertip. Sink a bit lower, straighten the front leg, pivot round and do the posture on the other side. I think maybe I could have my legs a little bit wider for this. I'd be able to get closer to 45 degrees. Of course it's 90-degree angle, isn't it? It's not 45, I'm talking nonsense. 90 right angle. So now folding forward, so now we've just straightened ourselves up to the long side of the mat, hands on your hips and folding forward. Yeah, every time I've said 45 degrees, I think I've meant 90 degrees. I'm not a mathematician. So fold forward, that's it. And on an inhale, come up again. Turn your feet to the front of the mat, lower your back leg and foot and just push your hands back. So you want a slight back bend. And now we're going to straighten our front leg. Should be a fantastic stretch on your hamstrings. And put your hands down, try and get your head to your knee. Roll forward, slight back bend, look up, straighten your front leg, push back with your hips, lift your toes, and now lift your back leg and we're going to pivot round to the other side. So lunge forward, so drop your knee, your back knee, should be the other leg, other side now. Slight back bend and then straighten your front leg, push your hips back. And again, forward, look up, push forward with your hips and push back with your front leg, with your hips, lean over your front leg. Now we're going to just come to sitting and we're going to do the boat posture 3 times. So keep your chest lifted, look at your toes, arms parallel to the floor, energy, balancing on your buttocks. Eventually the aim is to have your legs straight with your eyes. Lift, now just take a break, so lift, cross your legs and lift your buttocks off the floor and then go back into boat posture. So there's 5 breaths. But you're aiming to have straight legs eventually with your toes the same level as your eyes. I haven't quite got that today. And last time, shoulders down, chest lifted, and gradually lower yourself down, maybe put your arms overhead and take 2 minutes of relaxation here.